Welcome back to the channel. We're diving into a list nobody wants to be on: the worst cities in America. Now, before you think of Los Angeles, Chicago, or New York, nope, those aren't on this list. We're talking smaller and mid-sized cities where everyday life is way tougher than it should be. Considered three big things: livability score, violent crime, total cost of living compared to the state average. So, do you think your hometown made the cut? Drop a comment below before we get started. Let's jump right in. Number 10, Barstow, California. Population, about 25,000. If you've never heard of Barstow, you're lucky. This is the place Californians only move to if every other option has failed. Bankruptcy papers signed, fresh out of rehab, who broke for Los Angeles or San Diego? Barstow is waiting. Drive the I-15 between LA and Vegas, run out of gas, and suddenly, you're here. The heat feels like sticking your head inside an oven. The sidewalks are cracked, old neon signs flicker, and tumbleweeds are sometimes more reliable than the local job market. Housing is cheaper here, about 28% lower than California's average, but you'll pay the difference in long drives for healthcare, scarce job opportunity, and crime rates 183% higher than the national average. Barstow's livability score, 57,100. Let's just say it's not where people dream of retiring. Number 9, Gallup, New Mexico. Population, 21,000. From afar, Gallup looks like an artist's dream. Red rocks, desert skies, and a heritage festival that actually is worth visiting. But zoom in, and the reality is grim. Pawn shops on every corner, poverty that won't let go, and too many families selling heirlooms just to pay rent. Alcohol-related issues have plagued the community for decades. Opportunities are thin, and even though the cost of living is 3% lower than New Mexico's average, the trade-off is high crime, 274% above the national average. Gallup's livability score is 63,100, which sounds better than Barstow, but the everyday struggles here weigh heavy. Beautiful scenery doesn't always mean a beautiful life. Number 8, Selma, Alabama. Population, 17,000. Selma is both historic and hurting. Everyone knows the importance of the bridge here and the civil rights story, but when you step away from the history, you see a city fighting for its survival. Jobs are rare, incomes are low, and schools are underfunded. The infrastructure has cracks wide enough to park a small car in. Sure, houses are cheap, but cheap comes with costly maintenance, unreliable healthcare, and very little economic growth. Selma's livability score is just 56,100, with violent crime 124% above the national average. The cost of living is 7% lower than Alabama's already low average, but in this case, cheap living doesn't mean easy living. Number 7, Camden, New Jersey. Population, 71,000. Camden has been struggling for decades. Once a proud industrial hub across the river from Philadelphia, today it's more like Philly's forgotten cousin. Yes, there are attractions like the battleship and the aquarium, but once the sun goes down, you don't linger. The city has tried reform after reform, but nothing seems to stick. Camden's livability score is 62,100, but violent crime is a staggering 365% above the national average. On the plus side, the cost of living is 25% lower than New Jersey's average, but it's not exactly a bargain if you're trading your safety for affordability. Number 6, Benton Harbor, Michigan. Population, just under 10,000. Lake Michigan is right there, but you wouldn't know it from how Benton Harbor feels. It's one of those towns where poverty casts a long shadow, and the divide between Benton Harbor and its wealthy neighbor, St. Joseph, is almost surreal. Yes, housing is affordable, 12% lower than Michigan's average, but Benton Harbor comes with one of the highest violent crime rates on this list, 532% above the national average. The livability score is 55,100, and residents live with water quality concerns, potholes, and seasonal jobs that barely hold things together. Number 5, East St. Louis, Illinois. Population, 17,642. East St. Louis looks like something straight out of a post-apocalyptic TV show. This place hasn't seen population growth since the 1950s. Miss a highway exit and accidentally drive into town. Your pulse will spike. Locals joke about not stopping at red lights because crime is that bad. The livability score is technically 69/100 because it's so cheap, but that hides the truth. Violent crime is 168% above the national average, and many believe crimes here are heavily underreported. Cost of living is 20% lower than the national average, but you'll pay for it in safety and services that barely function. Number 4. Gary, Indiana. Population around 69,000. Gary is one of the most infamous names on this list. Once a booming steel town, now it's a landscape of abandoned plants, boarded-up homes and residents who never left. Affordable? Yes. Safe? Not at all. Violent crime is 99% above the national average, and the city feels like it's been stuck in a time loop since the mills shut down. The livability score is 62/100, but most of that comes from cheap housing. Otherwise, Gary is a hard place to call home. Number 3. Atlantic City, New Jersey. Population 38,497. Bright lights, casinos? The boardwalk sounds glamorous, right? Until you step off the main strip. Atlantic City lives and dies by tourism, and when the season's over, so is the economy. Property is cheap, 18% below New Jersey's average. But violent crime is a shocking 397% above the national average. The livability score is just 55/100, which proves the casinos may shine, but the neighborhoods are struggling. Number 2. Yazoo City, Mississippi. Population 10,316. The name sounds fun. The reality? Not so much. Yazoo City is small, poor, and crime-ridden. Livability is only 50/100. Violent crime is 228% higher than the national average. And while the cost of living is 5% below Mississippi's already rock-bottom prices, it doesn't feel like much of a deal when opportunity is almost non-existent. Add in the humidity, mosquitoes, and lack of jobs, and you've got a recipe for a city that feels stuck in time. Number 1. Monroe, Louisiana. Population 46,117. And finally, number 1. Monroe. Monroe has it all, if by all you mean crime, poverty, and unbearable weather. Step outside and the humidity will slap you like it's personal. The mosquitoes are relentless, and so are the struggles. The livability score? 51/100. Violent crime? An unbelievable 457% above the national average. Yes, you heard that right. Nearly 5 times higher than the rest of the country. The cost of living is 5% lower than Louisiana's average. But honestly, no amount of cheap rent makes up for the daily survival mode life here. So there you have it. The top 10 worst cities in America right now. Do you agree with the list? Did your city make it? Let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you found this video eye-opening. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, and I'll catch you in the next video.